Hi, Dave Chesser from Formosa Fitness. Today I want to talk to you about something that's been bugging me for a little while, and that's the question of when did fitness become all about how you look? See it all the time: six-pack, body fat percentages, spot reduction, how do I get bigger biceps, all this kind of stuff. It seems like these are the only questions that people really ask themselves when it comes to getting fit. The only thing they want to do is look good. I've often wondered why it is that people focus on this, and I've come to the conclusion it's because I think people are just very empty. I don't think there's a lot going on inside them. There's not a lot of depth. So what happens is we just focus on the outside shell. And if it weren't for focusing on that outside shell, I'm not sure most people would even exist sometimes. There just seems to be a lot of posturing and stuff going on in their gyms. And I think it sort of hides the fact that we aren't capable of doing a lot. It seems to me that fitness ought to be about like what we're capable of doing, or just what you look like. This really got driven home to me a couple of years ago when I taught a seminar for kettlebells. I only had this guy walk in, and I was amazed. I mean, this guy looked like a Greek statue, walking in. He had big biceps, a good chest, six-pack shown very clearly through his Nike Lycra t-shirt, which is why he was wearing a Nike Lycra t-shirt, I'm sure. He just looked like what I think every man probably thinks they want to look like. I was even a little intimidated, even though I was teaching the seminar. This guy looked better than me. So he came over and we were teaching him how to use the kettlebell. We wanted him to bend down and pick it up off the floor, and he can't do it. And I was sort of shocked. I looked at this guy, and I wanted him to bend down and just do a simple deadlift. So he kept his legs completely straight. He didn't bend from the hips. He bent from his lower back. His hamstrings were like piano wires. His lower back looked like it was about to break, and this was just picking the kettlebell up off the floor. It got worse as we had him do a lunge. He couldn't lunge. His hip flexors were so tight he could not get into a lunge position. And finally, when we tried to teach him how to swing, he just quit and knocked out, because if you can't deadlift, if you can't lunge, then you certainly can't swing. And it seemed to me that this guy was basically just a collection of body parts. He was one piece, one piece, one piece, and when it got put together, there wasn't a whole. It was just a collection of pieces. I talked to the other trainers there that knew him, and it comes to find out that he had been using the machines at the gym, and that's really all he ever did. He would simply do bicep curls, and he would go to the chest machine, and he would do the shoulder press, and he would do things like this. And he ended up looking like something that every guy wanted to look like, but there was just nothing there. So in some sense you could say that he looks like Tarzan but plays like Jane, and I think that's a very apt description. As long as this guy just stands there, he looks good, but the minute he moves, he just gives it away that there's nothing really there. Also, I'm on a couple of lists and stuff. I subscribe to some people on Facebook and some bloggers. And a couple of them are very famous fitness authors, and these are like people, if you walked into any bookstore, you would see their name right there. You read any of the magazines, you obviously run into their articles probably every month. And sometimes they talk about training these fitness models in order to take the pictures of the photo shoots and stuff. And some of these guys will say that these fitness models, they're as weak as kittens. And that's not the impression that most people get from looking at the magazines. But the thing is, these fitness models are like, they're so dehydrated, carbohydrate depleted, because they have to look super ripped, and they end up being capable of doing almost nothing. Now, wrap your head around that for a minute. What most everybody in the fitness industry wants to look like turns out to be super weak. These are people who can't do anything because they're in such a depleted state. I mean, is that what fitness is about? Is that what we come to the gym to really train for? I don't think so, and that's not what I want to train for. So I guess what I would ask would be for you to really question, six-pack, is that really the only thing that we need? Low body fat, 3–4%. I even hear people talking about that's not even possible, let alone sustainable. I mean, really, is that your measure of fitness? Is that the only measure of fitness? Yeah, I just don't think so. I don't think we have to train like that. And don't let these kind of impressions keep you away from fitness. Just because other people think that's important, you know, there are others of us out there that think if you've got, you know, some low body fat, you got a six-pack, that's great and all. That's not necessarily the only thing that you have to be training for. So I don't know, you let me know what you think about that. Thanks.